Oh, and down he goes! Right hand, left hand! And I don't think he's going to get up! I think it's all over! I think it's over! Is he going to get up? Can he get up? Can he get up? He does! Oh my goodness! Somehow Fury has managed to get up!
Hello folks and welcome back to the Brawl Boxing Podcast. I'm Kieran McCourt and I'm joined by co-hosts Colin McGuigan and Ram McLaughlin. Feels good, boys?
It is. It's a lot. I'm emotional. It was 4 months, but it feels like 4 years, and that's just the Ford FC. I know, Crumlin United now. Crumlin United now.
Biggest comeback since fucking One Direction, lads.
I'm Harry Stein.
Where have we been? Let the listeners know.
So we had a massive fallout whenever I
was getting on like Zayn Malik.
Ran too big for his boots. The reason we actually just took we took a month. We were always planning on taking a month or two break and doing it in seasons. And then it's weird. I feel like I'm explaining it to you two. I feel like I'm mansplaining our fucking hiatus to you two. And then it went on for a bit too long, and then Colin fucked off with IFL.
Casually cool, I like to call him now. You know what I mean? He's left us, so like the little budget podcast from Belfast, and he's went to the big dogs and forgot about us. So we had all these guests lined up. We were bringing them on, and then Coco would literally be like, "Sorry, mate, I'm doing them for IFL tonight," and then we'd be set back another week. So
he's like, sorry, you got Johnny Nelson here at 2:00.
I actually just started stealing the Brawl Boxing guests. So whenever I got the job, I just got the Brawl Boxing guest list and went through them all and just said, that's it. And then they're all saying to me, where's the podcast? The first thing whenever we go on to it. And I'm like, nah, podcast is no longer, mate. We're not doing it anymore.
There's a 3-horse race and I've lost 2 horses. So Coco it alone, we'll probably use it as a bit of fucking nepotism now. He'll work his wonders as he always has. And we're hoping, now we will be back. For everyone listening who thinks we're completely unreliable, this is us now back. So we'll have a guest on later today who you'll already know, but probably be in the title. But
so what? It's actually mad how it's all swung, because now I'm the one I'm with no job. Coco is obviously Mr. IFL. Kieran's the actor. I'm sat here, my man Daz in West Belfast. Just
to dispel any rumours, because there'll be a lot of listeners wondering, Ryan is not actually joining Cliftonville. He's joining St James's Swifts. It was announced last night, and people haven't realised that it's actually true since my tweet. So just to get the rumours out of the bed early on, Ryan has signed for St James's Swifts, and he can't wait to get started.
Look, we support this, so.
Yeah, I just want to say this, right? It's not true. I'm not signed for St James's Swift. I'm not signed for Cliftonville. I'm actually retiring from football and becoming a male model. It's something that's been on my mind for a while. So
you're not always a male model, though.
Yeah, but I was doing it for free. Now I'm sort of like, you know what? I have to start charging for these. You know what I mean?
Do you know what though? There's actually, I'm not going to name the guy because I actually don't even know his name, but there's a guy on Twitter who literally just hates Ryan's guts every time Ryan posts something about like David Beckham, or he posts something. This guy gets tagged. I don't know what his thing is with Ryan, but I think we need to set up a Brawl Boxing prank on this guy. I don't even know him, but we need to do something and get him and Ryan in the same room together, because it's insane. No, could they fight? Get it on.
He ends up being an absolute fucking hard cunt.
Yeah, no. Tell you what, though, if he's playing for McLaren, I don't want to smoke.
He's just named him. He's named him.
I know what you're on about. Do you know what? I haven't even spoke to you about this. You just brought this up randomly, so you must have seen it on Twitter. But
I seen it again last night after the surf thing. That's what I'm saying.
It's been carnage. You know, I've been public enemy number 1 for down the lower end of the falls now that I'm obviously associated with the upper end of the falls now. So there's a bit of a rivalry going on. But St James's have my back, so it's all good. But I genuinely do think it looked like David Beckham. When people say, "Oh, he's only joking," it's not true. I do think
you do. I think you do.
100%.
Yeah.
Cheers, I just appreciate it.
I mean, that goes by. Back yourself.
Back yourself, right?
No, but it's obviously Ryan's moved into the finance market now. He's just been buying gaffs all over Belfast, left, right, centre.
Yes, we plugged for Pitch the Property there. I'm on the board of directors at Pitch the Property. It's an absolute unbelievable startup business from Ryan and Conor McLaughlin. So give it a check out. And if you're an athlete, or not even just athletes, Ryan, is it?
Anyone, yeah. As long as you've got a couple of mil in the bank, we'll sort you out. It's for everyone. It's for everyone. It's we source houses for you to be able to invest your money. But yeah, that's it. I'm not gonna go too much into it. But yeah, come see me. Come see Conor McLaughlin. Come see Colin McGuigan. Sorry, you're obviously
well, as well, I just want to put it out there on a serious note, because I have had a few messages about this as well. If you've been following Ryan on Instagram and you've been seeing like the cheesy sort of motivating quotes he puts as a story, he's not being frapped. So that actually is him.
Remember that word?
And he's our brother, so we support him all the way.
Look, I haven't posted one. I've only post selfies. 2 selfies, and then me in the gym.
To be fair, lads, we've got serious competition in this podcast game now, so we need to up our brawl boxing game. Like, we've got the likes of Sam Jones bringing out his own podcast now. A complete rival.
See Josh Windass. Fuck you, Josh Windass. Taking ball and brawl, stealing our name.
Yeah, our name was used in Jester. We do not like that. But they've got a good podcast, and obviously we need to keep our numbers up now. So you'll see us back every week going forward. And I think our next guest might be waiting. So maybe it's a good chance just to
bring him straight.
Stop here and bring him straight in. So yeah. Well, guys, we're back again, and we're delighted to have on this next guest. He actually was one of the first ones that we had on when we originally started the podcast. So please welcome Mick Conlan. Mick, how's things? All good?
Good. Just
he's a shareholder in Brawl Boxing. Remember, you have to throw that in too.
That's right. Yeah. Just finished training and eating a nice clean protein bar.
what type of protein bar is that?
Barker.
A what?
Jack bar.
Oh,
Jack protein blackjack.
This is why I've got no job right now. Cadbury's mini roll.
You used to love your digestives.
They're clean. They're clean.
They are clean. It's clean sport. You know what I mean?
Oh, we're jumping straight in then, are we, boys? We're jumping straight in.
It was a clean sport.
I'm up for the jumping in, boys.
So obviously, as we say, this first podcast back. The reason for that being, we've been planning to start back for a few weeks now, and we've got a bit sidetracked. But massive news has come out in the boxing world today that Conor Benn has failed a drug test for his fight with Chris Eubank Jr. this weekend. So we thought we'd have Mick on. Mick's always honest, as you've seen, if you've been watching him from the Olympics or before or since. He's always very honest. He doesn't mince his words. So
Mick, I think my lighting is too bright.
He's also very vain, isn't he?
He's a vain bastard, yeah.
Yeah, that's all right. Mick, but I want there to be a thumbnail, right, of you going like this.
Yeah, sure.
We need that.
Then that.
Listen, it's rotten from the core. That's all I'll say.
Till the very top.
Cordia tap.
From the core right to that top.
I don't give a fuck if I'm cursing on Zoom.
But tell me this, Mick, right? How careful are you with what you take? First of all,
everything. Check everything. Like,
as in,
listen, if you're not going to get done for a fucking track protein bar, don't go and check them. I know there's nothing in them. They're not really even fucking protein in them. They're just nice. But like vitamins, vitamin C, fucking multivitamins, everything. I make sure I have kind of the backlog of where they came from, what production lines they've been on, are they clean, where is everything done. I've been very well schooled in it as an Olympic boxer. I was tested 5 times in 1 week. I get tested an awful lot. So like I understand the kind of measures and stuff you have to check. It's much more strict than amateur boxing. Professional boxing, if I'm honest, is quite a joke when it comes to doping. And there's so many loopholes.
Yeah, I see. Well, I seen you say that earlier, and I've actually seen quite a few boxers like at the sort of top level, like yourself, say this, that they believe that, like, I've seen some stats thrown out today. Obviously, I don't know if this is true or false, but they think upwards of maybe 60, 70, 80% of world champions and top level boxers are doping. Like, do you think that could be the case?
Yep. I do.
Sorry.
It's a massive backward step, isn't it? when you think about it, like everyone's buzzing about big fights being made, you know, like very rarely it happens, you know, something at this magnitude, and then boom, it just takes a massive massive step back, and it's like, where do you go from here again?
With boxing, mate, simple thing. Like when anything ever crazy happens in boxing, you just say it's boxing because that's it. You know what I mean? It's the wild west of sport. Anything can happen, and anything does happen an awful lot. So yeah, it's scary, and especially as a fighter with a family, it's something that I always shout from the rooftops about when these situations come up. When someone else is caught, I scream from the rooftops. Should be banned for life. There should be lifetime bans for people who fail dope tests. You know, there's loads of things people take, and there's fucking masking agents people take. But in my opinion, as fucking Nate Diaz says in MMA, these are all fucking taking drugs. They're all on steroids. I mean, it's simply like that. I think it's the same on boxing. I think the majority of the top fighters are doping. If not fantastic, they're unbelievable. Big respect, but I think a lot of people in the sport are doping.
So,
And it's scary. It's like life and death. Like one thing I've always been worried about is the dangers of boxing, and times they get out and out there, and you should always have to have your exit plans, but sometimes they're hindered by what goes on in the sport like this. Like someone like plan to get out, get a few more fights gone. What happens if fucking someone gets a brain injury because they're fighting someone who's doping? I mean, I think the only kind of way that this will probably come to a stop and people will stop doing it is when someone dies.
Yeah.
Is the business aspect
and the person who dies, the person they have faced has failed the doping test. That's the only kind of way. Well, there can be more.
In that scenario, like the person, you should be fucking charged. Then it should become a criminal matter. Do you know what I mean? It's no longer sport.
Exactly, and I think they should be charged. Any boxers doping, I still think they should be charged criminally. In general, even if they haven't killed someone, because it's attempted murder, basically. You know what I mean? You're going in there in a sport where life and death happens a lot, and yeah, that's my ringtone. But yeah, like it's a sport where a lot of deaths have happened in the ring, and how horrible would it be if one of them was due to someone who was doping, or probably has happened to someone who's been doping, but we don't know, and there's never been any proof of it yet. But nothing is done when someone dies normally in boxing because it's sport, and that's fair. But if you're doping and intentionally doping, you can say or not, but most of the people are intentionally doping, and they kill someone, should do jail time, 100%. This manslaughter.
What do you think about the whole? If the boxing board of control don't sanction it, they'll go to Luxembourg and do it with them.
Yeah, same kind of thing with David Hay and Derek Chisora when they had the kind of fight at the press conference. And all, the boxing board of control wouldn't sanction the fight, so British boxing board of control wouldn't sanction the fight, so they still done the fight in England, but they brought in the Luxembourg board and they done it still, and it went ahead. So, what do I think of that? I think that's just another loophole for people to go through, and if people really want to turn their eyes to it, which, let's be honest, not really many people give a fuck. They'll rave about it and they'll shout about it, but no one really cares. We gotta be straight. Like no one does care. People just want to see the fight. So there's very few. I think a lot of fighters will, and I think it's funny when you see the fighters who don't speak up. All right, albeit people who are probably friends or connected in promotional kind of things and can't say things or don't say things for them reasons. But when there's people not associated and then they're not speaking up on it, you're going, Start to fucking think, don't you? Like you start to question, and I think it's horrible. And the reason I would never do it is because at least I can look at myself in the mirror when I'm old and say, listen, if you did this, if you did that, if you achieved what you wanted, if you didn't, it done it the right way. It done it clean.
I always think that as well. Like it's not just about it's not just about the chance of getting caught and like your name being dragged through the mud. Because at the end of the day, it's the worst thing in boxing you can be. Do you know what I mean? It's like the lowest of the low. but it's not just about that. Like it's about looking at yourself, as you say, and being like say you win a world title, right? And you know you've been doping. Can you honestly and you're getting all this praise, and everyone you meet is like, you're so fucking good, you're so tough, so durable, you're the world champion. Like there must be a part of you inside is like, am I though? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll never know the feeling because I've never done it and never will do it. But I have that same thought as you. Everybody has a conscience. No matter if they say they don't, but they do, unless you're a psychopath or something like that. Right? Like you're on Dahmer. I watched that show. Like something like that. But like everybody has a conscience, and it'll always come back to you. And like deep down, you're never truly going to be happy. But at the same time, I suppose then people could look in the mirror and go, "So fuck, I have all this money now." But yeah, welcome.
Mick, you said something there about promotional ties and teammates and things like that. But I remember whenever the Oscar Valdez thing came out, you were one of the first to tweet. And obviously Oscar is a good friend of yours, was a former teammate. Do you think these people should come out and speak because it's so important to you as a fighter that your family know you're coming home safe after every fight?
Yeah, I think if they're not tainted by money or if they're not kind of worried about what can going to come for me next, they should. But a lot of people will be too worried and too afraid to do it, thinking they're going to kind of get stopped from whatever they're doing. But you're right, I did. I spoke out in Oscar when Oscar failed his, and I generally believe that Oscar's was accidental, but I still spoke out on it, and I still says I don't think the fight should go ahead. Now I haven't spoke to Oscar since, so I don't know if he's happy with what I said, but I just had to call a spade a spade. This is a sport which I'm involved in, and if fights are still able to go ahead with people who are doping, and being caught publicly, there is obviously people being caught behind the scenes and it being brushed under the carpet. So if that stuff is kind of happening and you're in a fight, what happens to that, and something happens which is fatal, who the fuck has your back? You know what I mean? So, in a selfish way, I speak up for myself. I don't give a fuck about anybody else, and I've always been that way. I always speak my mind and say it how it is, and that's why I speak up and say what I have to say, because I just feel that for my own safety, for my family's safety, and everything like that, I need to speak up. I, I, I fear it's something that I'm afraid of. I hate it, the thought of it, the dangers of boxing, and reasons like this make you dislike boxing. Um, Boxing has a funny way of slapping itself in the face all the time. And if this fight goes ahead, I believe that's boxing doing that.
Well, it's been a few weeks, obviously, since this result came in, but we're only hearing about it now. So, one, do you think that's it being brushed under the carpet in the hope that it would never be released? We've seen so much going on now, back and forth today, that there's a possibility the fight will still go ahead. Do you think it will go ahead?
I think it goes ahead. I think it goes ahead. Unfortunately, and I have my teammate Harlan Eubank is on the card, and Shannon Courtney who's in the gym, she's on the card, and unfortunately for Emmons, I'm shouting saying I don't think it should go ahead, and that means they don't get the opportunity, which is they're probably going to be going for a bit of a dickhead, but I'm not doing it for that reason. I'm doing it for the reason of fairness, and kind of your own safety. So if it doesn't go ahead, I'd be delighted just for the simple fact that justice is kind of being pushed through. But I do think it goes ahead. I care if it goes ahead. I was going to say I don't care, but I actually do care because I think it's wrong. It probably I have, as it says, I'm doing me. I don't care who wins. I don't care about the fight really. I think it's interesting and intriguing. There's a lot of money involved in it, and Matchroom have done a fantastic job with the whole kind of build up and stuff. I was excited for it, but this has kind of put a very muddy look on it for me, and I don't really want to see it now.
I think in general, even if you look at like Twitter, social media in general, you'll see I feel like the buzz has died a little bit for it. I feel like a lot of people don't want to see it happen. A lot of people actually say it shouldn't go ahead, because when you see like the abuse Eddie's getting now from basically saying, oh, they're going to try everything, it should go ahead, blah, blah, blah. He's getting absolutely hammered for it, left, right, and centre. I don't see one person saying it should go ahead except for Matchroom.
But to play devil's advocate, I still think it would be bigger now. Like if they go ahead, I think it would do big numbers.
Yeah. It still does big numbers. Still does really well. I don't think people are going to turn their TVs off because of it. I don't think people are not going to bet because of it. I think more people, like he just said, like Kieran just said, I think more people will bet, and be more interested in it. I think the odds on betting might swing. That interests me always. So, I don't know. I don't know what happens. Do I agree with it going ahead? No. Do I think people really want to be turned off? No, because at the end of the day, people on Twitter have opinions and they shout and they cring, but their opinions mean fuck all. They actually mean nothing. So, my own included, none of these mean anything. Obviously, in my sport, it has probably a little bit more pull when I said something than average Joe, but still means fuck all. And yeah, it's weird. Twitter's. I wouldn't go off what's being said on Twitter because a lot of people don't even have Twitter.
Like, I know. See, but
But
like,
if this goes ahead, sorry, Aaron, if this does go ahead, what does that do to the next person who's doping? And what does that tell them about what they're going to do going forward? Just dope because you're going to get the fight anyways. Luxembourg are just going to come in and save it. Is that fair to say that?
Well, if you look at all the previous kind of people who have failed dope test, they're still fighting.
So what's the reason to stop them?
Oscar fought the same fucking week or something. He was caught, or 2 weeks after he was fought.
Mhm.
Canelo got a 6-month ban, but he's back fighting. It's not even spoke about no more. Fury, Dillian Wade, all these guys, they've all got caught open, and it's sad. I think this doesn't stop anything. This, like I says, I think it takes someone to die, and the person who is in the opposite corner fail a dope test, and then I think precautions will be starting to take even more so then. But will it eradicate it? No. It's a bit like judging. These things don't just go away. I think they'll dwindle off for a little bit and then come back, and that's the way it goes.
And I think the saddest part about this one is like, because as you say, it won't be stopped until either someone dies or it comes.
And it wouldn't stop me watching it on Saturday if it
Yeah,
goes
no,
ahead.
but I think like fighters have a. I think a lot of fans, number one, like you primarily don't want it to go ahead. However, if it's on, you'll watch it. I get that. Whereas I think most fighters, but like yourself, would rather it not go ahead. And I understand why fans almost don't put themselves in the position of a fighter where they might have to face, because you're thinking, fuck, well, one day I could get in there with someone who's on full of his head on testosterone or whatever. But like the four key players involved in this fight, the two sons and the two dads, and like all three apart from Conor Benn have been involved in near fatal fights, basically. Blackwell, Watson, and Jordan McClellan, which makes it even more sickening in a way. Do you know what I mean? If Conor did, we don't know until the second sample comes back, but like if he did drug cheat, it makes it even more heinous, like, in a way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, the history in terms of the fighters, all included, the four people you just mentioned, the two fathers and the two sons, and bar Conor, you're right. The other three have been involved in fights which have changed the opponent's lives. That was very scary. There were very prominent ones, or three very prominent fighters who have been involved in them things. In British boxing. So the fact that it's this kind of fight and this kind of been done, you go, fuck me. If he's done that, he's fucking he's crazy. Crazy, because you never even like you don't want to be the person who caused that. And someone, you see how Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank Senior, how that has affected Demons and how they are. You see Nigel Benn around Michael Watson, or sorry, Chris Eubank around Michael Watson, and how he is and how like he cries and stuff. Like that obviously affects him, knowing that he's done that to someone. Nigel Benn, I think, was the same with Jeremy McLennan. So, it's scary, man. It's scary. This is a fucking dangerous game, and there is no room for this shit. And that's the be all and end all. There is no room for this. It's dangerous enough already without it. So, fuck that.
I feel when it happens, there's like a big uproar, but then it'll sort of just go away naturally. Like the noise will die down, and I think that's when something like this happens. I'd say the people that have actually been charged or been found guilty of it, sort of probably use that sort of stance to be like, do you know what, it'll all blow over in a few months, because it does, which means they actually will still try it no matter what, because the risk is worth the reward. And I think you just have to, there has to be a point where, just like you said, does it have to take someone to die from basically someone using PEDs for them to die, like for them to die and result of that?
In my opinion, that's the only thing that changes how everything goes. And that's scary. That's a fucking scary fact.
If you were someone that could influence this in a way that going forward there would be a ban, would you just blanket ban everyone that's done with doping? Is that the only way to kind of go against it?
I think just lifetime bans. Now you can appeal it, and depending on what is in your system and all there, I think I'm not to be judged at. I don't know enough about it. I'm not kind of clued enough about it. I think Victor Conte in America, he's very clued up about all that. He runs that snack, but Victor was a former doctor who was doping fighter or doping athletes, and was caught, wasn't he, in the Balco kind of whatever it's called. So yeah, I think someone in that kind of science kind of department can judge what, like your mom Conte. I think he knows what is for boxing and what helps you perform better and all this here, and he knows the ins and outs of the doping world. So someone like him should share something where, if you feel and you're banned for life and you can appeal it, he can be the one to say, well, this is for that reason, this is for that reason, you can or you can't. So yeah.
Yeah, final question on that, because I want to quickly touch as well on you and your next moves. But final question, because I was thinking about this earlier when it comes to doping. You have obviously been a professional boxer for years now. You've been in professional setup around the coaches. Would it be possible, like would the coaches, would your team know you're doing it? Would there be a way you could be doing it without them knowing? Or
yeah, I would say so. I don't know. I'll be honest, I don't really know, but I would say a lot of people's coaches are involved.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, it must go, as the quote yourself, it's from the core to the top. Do you know what I mean?
I would say a lot of people know. They'd have a small circle around them who would trust not to say them. Now, listen, there's ways the coaches probably know nothing. Depends how much the coach is involved. Yeah, I'm not saying in this situation that any coaches know or anything like that, just to get facts straight. But I'm just saying, I think a lot of coaches whose fighters do it would probably know, or would have an inkling at least. Do I think Conor Benn is doped his whole career? No, I don't think so. I think he's probably looking at this going, if he has purposely done it now, I don't know if he has, so I'm not saying he has or he hasn't. Just to clarify. But if he has purposely done it, he's looking at Eubank going, fuck me, this is a big challenge. I'm coming up basically and fighting in the middleweight here. I need every advantage I can get, and that's what he's done. But I'm not going to sit here and say he's doped his whole career, but what this does for sure is tarnish his whole career.
Mick, we'll move on to what's next for you. Obviously, you've got a massive fight coming up on the 10th of December. It'll be announced probably this week, maybe next week. How much are you looking forward to getting back in the ring in front of that Belfast crowd again?
Yeah, mate, I'm delighted. Delighted to be back out, delighted to be out before the end of the year. Last year I was kind of hindered without getting out. I fought in August, but did I even fight last March?
Yeah, you fought. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Last year?
No,
the one before was COVID. No,
so I didn't. So I fought last year, and then I was meant to fight in the winter, but it didn't happen. So, yeah, I'm just happy to be back out. I needed to get back out. I did actually. I fought in April last time.
And
I fought at Beluda.
Beluda.
So get out in the winter, kind of hindered me actually for the wee bit because I didn't stay active like I always do. So the fact that I'm staying active, I'll be back out here. Have a good fight, tough opponent. Back in Belfast. It's going to be a great night. As always.
Yeah. What was the? I missed the last one. Which was fucking gutted about. What was it? What was the atmosphere like walking out in SSE?
You know what? I always was like, couldn't beat the feel, couldn't beat the park. But it beat it because the atmosphere was just different. It was like the feeling, and then you put a roof on that, and you're going, fuck me. Wow. And as well, like, gotta give myself credit here and a pat in the back because my walkouts are the best walkouts you could ever get in boxing.
That tune was epic. When I was
And I
carrying your
changed it.
bags, when I was carrying your bags and all that day, too, when I was walking you out. All the tunes, there's one's come up me going, I'm a bag carrier, right? So I'm sure Eugene Gallagher, you rat.
So, like, I changed up my walkouts, come out there, a bit of a dance tune. The crowd went absolutely mental. Had a tough opponent in front of me in Miguel Mariaga, but I don't think I'll get the credit for with how easily I made that fight look, and how much of a box I kind of put him in where he couldn't do nothing at all. Just technically, I was just too good, and I think it really made him look like bad and poor. And people will probably say, oh, he's kind of washed, but look at his last few fights. He's been in wars and he's given people tough fights. So, yeah, I think it was a good win. A good one to get back on the horse and get back in the contention for world titles.
Did you have see before, because we haven't spoken to you since that fight? Obviously coming off the back of the Wood fight, did you have was there a it certainly didn't look like it, but some fighters have that niggle in the back of their mind, because you're obviously always ultra confident. You were in the amateurs, you were in the pros. Did it change your mentality at all, or no?
He was winking at me during the fight. He was absolutely chilling. He was.
I think yeah. Listen, it makes you think more. It makes you question yourself. When you come off a loss, my first loss of professional, my first time ever in my life being knocked out. You start to question yourself, and I know, even though I know reasons for things happening and how things played out, I understand why, but still you question yourself, and it's until you get in there and you do it, and how it depends how you do it. People can go in there and scrape through things, but I went in there and showed it, and I took some clean shots throughout that fight. Jimmy's actually watched it last night. He sent me a few pictures, a few clips of videos going, you actually get hit clean here, so don't worry about anything. I was like, I know, I don't worry about anything, but reassuring me. Yeah, listen, I was in there with a very, very heavy puncher. I hit me a few times in there, and I was like, fuck that, I'm not letting this guy hit me again. But yeah, it was good. But yeah, you always have them doubts. If anybody says they don't doubt, don't have little bits of self-doubt, they're lying.
There was a point in the 12th round where you just traded with Mariaga. 10th round, sorry, yes. 10th. When you traded with Mariaga.
Yeah.
That was absolute madness to me. But was that to you just to get rid of those demons that you had from the previous fight?
Funny enough, he hit me a shot on the temple, like in the first 15 seconds, something of the 10th round, and I went, "Whoa, what the fuck? This cunt can punch like fuck." So I kind of tried to grab one a little bit, and then I kind of moved, and then I just went, "Fuck this, let's go." I just put my head down, like sat low, and just started trading, and ended up coming off the better and taking away the 10th round. It looked like he started really well, and I ended up winning the round. So, yeah, I think that those were little subconsciously little demons which I battled through and got out of the way.
I don't think there was ever that much of a doubt about your chin. Like, I never heard, because obviously the Wood fight, it wasn't like a normal
fatigue, man. Fatigue, that's all it was. But that's what I mean. It's not like it was ever a doubt or anything. It's like the questions you'll ask yourself. You know what I mean? Because like, even though as I know all the facts, I know the reasons and I understand the reasons, still question. I mean, everybody has that. You have to question everything. And one thing I do is I like to know everything and understand everything. And the fact that happened, I still questioned it. Why? How did that happen? It couldn't happen all this year, but it did. So
I personally don't think it was just fatigue in terms of before that fight, what you were coughing up. I've never seen any man cough up in my life. I'm like, not using that as an excuse.
That's
all that I said, but like that definitely has an effect on someone. And obviously, whenever you're getting into the ring like that, it has to have an effect on your body. So it can't just be down to fatigue. That.
Well, listen, don't need to worry about only that there. Now we move on. Get this next fight out of the way. Go in and put on a dumb performance, beat this guy, and then we move on to whatever is next. Hopefully, a world title fight on St. Patrick's Day.
Could that be in New York?
Could be in New York. Could be in Belfast.
Love it. Here, by the way, for your ring walk for your next fight, have you got any ideas yet? Or are you going to keep the upbeat tempo music?
No, I used to think. I think I will. I think I will, because I think I changed.
Mick's love it too. Like Mick's all over the show.
But also, like, I love the old stuff as well. Like like when
Mhm.
I came out there, a bit of soul music and stuff.
The Chili Peppers one was epic as well.
That was unbelievable. That's hard to beat that one. Like nine, be very hard to beat.
Well, Wim Hof be
I
walking
think
you.
I beat them.
There's been a point. Sorry, just for the listeners, there's been a point to this. It's been edited out for obvious reasons. Michael Conlan smiling in the corner being that main reason. We'll move on. Conlan Boxing have three.
We'll move on.
Three massive fights
Yeah.
this month. I can't even think properly.
Yeah.
Three massive fights this month. Pody McCrory in a world title fight in Germany.
Think about what happened in Vegas.
Again,
You look at the wee smile on his face.
and Kieran and Kurt obviously on the undercard. What do you make of that? Are you going to be there?
I won't be there. No, unfortunately not. I've got to go home and make my own kids. Sean is away for the week, so I've got to go back. And I'll not be able to make it. But Kurt's looking fantastic in the gym. I hear Kieran's looking brilliant up in Loughborough, and the Cinderella man, Pody McCrory. Wow, who ever thought he would be here at this stage of his life? You know what I mean? Like I remember when he turned pro, people saying, "Why the fuck is Pody turned pro?" People really questioned like why, and he just wanted to do it. And I seen someone right underneath on their last post. That guy was picked up from fucking working on Tuesday or something to have you a fight, and Poddy's reply, just being genuine and being Poddy. The actual fact I was working on Tuesday because he was talking about the opponent, but Poddy says I was working on Tuesday and I'm here, I'm fighting. So he's a salt of the earth kind of guy. And Conlan Boxing, we're delighted to get him the opportunity to fight for the IBO World Title. I'll be honest, I didn't think Pody would be in this position when he started boxing, but I'll be straight. I didn't, but with our work, dedication, punch power, the big purpose, he's on the verge here. So, I think he can do it. This is a fight where he can win, even though he's going the opponent's back garden. You can never underestimate Pody McCrory.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, he's defeated the odds his whole career, and he just looks unstoppable at the minute. He's just folding people like.
Yeah,
So,
and
as you say,
he'll have no weight problems. This one, he's been struggling to make the weight, the super middleweight limit. Last few, I've been saying to Jamie, "Fuck me," when and I'm going, I don't know how this goes. I don't know how this goes because these guys he's fighting are big punchers, but Pody looks fucked, and he's had to do make us do go back and lose more weight to make the weight, and he's done it every time, fairness to him, but there's only so long your body can do that. Unfortunately, this fight is at light heavyweight, so it's the next weight up, and I think you're going to see an even more explosive Pody McCrory. And I'm expecting a knockout.
That's unbelievable. See if he does do it as well. Like it is a proper fairy tale stuff. Like you'll be fucking. You see Thomas Kane and Ruth Gorman doing a documentary on him. No, I said if he wins, they'll do a documentary on him.
Fucking hell, that's what the word.
Well, look, Mick, thanks so much for your time. I've just induced a Michael Conlan lifetime ban from Brawl Boxing after the events towards the end of this. But
let's end this pod. Mick, it was an absolute pleasure having you again. We couldn't have picked any other guest to start us back. You've been there since the start, and we obviously always appreciate your time and honesty.
You just have to keep going now because you just disappeared, and usually when you start to disappear, it starts to dwindle away. I think it's because Big Table in the corner has 2 jobs, and
this is literally just honestly, Mick Conlan, me and you're gonna have serious words after this.
He's gallivanting around the world, videoing people.
And
I'll be on the game soon. See you in a bit.
Thanks a million, Mick.
Cheers, lad.
Well, guys, that is it for our episode with Michael Conlan. We're sorry it might have got a bit fuzzy near the end there in terms of there's probably a lot of edited out stuff.
Mick was on a mad one.
So if you're wondering why it's jumping back and forth in the last 5 minutes, that's why. But we really appreciate everyone listening, and as we say, that's us back. So we'll see you again next week with another very special guest. Thank you.
Boom.
Also, another big thank you goes to Wow Hydrate, who have came on board as a new sponsor for us as well. So why not push it and check out their website for some great deals.